What's up, guys? Can you see it? Can you tell that we're live or no?
I can see everything. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we are live. We're going to kind of start here at 2 p.m. in a couple minutes, Central Standard Time. But we got Brad here, and me and him are just going to have a kind of a conversation. But we're going to be talking about mainly the reason I decided to bring Brad on was to kind of give his feedback with the course, since he had early access, and there's a couple of people that have already joined and signed up and stuff, and they've probably already been through it. I know when I gave access to Brad, you went through all of it that first night, so
Yeah.
that kind of proves just how short it is, and we're going to kind of address that as well. So that's one thing I want to cover, and the other thing is just, Brad's had access to me for the last several weeks, and we've had pretty long conversations, so that this call won't be as long as some of those conversations. Actually, a StreamYard, I think, has a limit of like 4 hours or something. So we can't, that's the shortest we've ever talked, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, for those of you that are hopping on, just joining us live, do a hashtag live to let us know you're here. And for those of you that are watching this on the replay, you can do hashtag replay. And if you know who Brad is, or you're familiar with him, leave maybe hashtag Nomad Brad or something like that if you're familiar with him.
He is alive.
Yeah, he exists. Cool. So we don't have anybody on right now, so it may just be me. So this is kind of another reason I wanted to bring Brad on, because we had such awesome conversations the last couple of weeks. And they're super long, and so we cover a lot of stuff during them, but there's nobody else there. Nobody else gets to like hear what we're talking about and stuff. And so I really want to bring Brad on, because outside of Tyler, he's pretty much the only marketer that I talk to. And I think you kind of said the same thing the other week. You're like, you're the only person I talk to about this stuff. I mean, we have other marketing friends, but yeah, you're the only person I really speak to about this. So let me just quickly introduce Brad in case you don't know him. And kind of how we met, because I think that's really interesting, and kind of just how that all went down. So I initially came across Brad, it seems like so long ago, but it was only, I think, just last year, in the spring of last year. I don't really pay attention too much to emails and interviews and things like that. But I just happened to catch an email from, I guess, a mutual friend of ours, Rachel S. Lee, and just happened to click it. It must have had something about Bing or something, and I clicked it, and I just opened it and like watched it in on another screen as I was like doing something else, and just like listening to this guy I'd never heard of, Brad, Nomad Brad, and that's what if you've ever searched anything about Bing ads or ClickBank and Bing ads on YouTube, you're eventually going to run into Brad, because there's only kind of in line with what I teach about mass content. Brad's got so much content out there about Bing ads and ClickBank and Bing and stuff, that you're eventually going to run into one of his videos if you're going down that rabbit hole. So that's where I learned about Brad, and I've mentioned this in the past. For those of you that have followed me for a while, it's always been kind of interesting to me, and this is a really long introduction, but this is kind of more of how we met, and I think that's really interesting. But I've always been interested in the Bing affiliate marketing kind of side of things, because I've mentioned this several times over the years, that in the last 5, 6, 7 years, I've only noticed about once a year, there's like this mysterious Bing guy that just like shows up out of nowhere, as far as launches go. And then they always say the same thing. They're always like, well, like Bing still works with, first off, it still works. It's affiliate friendly. And they just kind of like whisper it, and then that launch just sort of goes away. And then next year, there's another guy that's sort of like, hey, I figured out Bing, and like, I'm just direct linking with ClickBank, and then they just sort of fade away, and like nobody seems to pay attention to that. And so I've never, seems like those guys pop up and go away, is the pattern that I've noticed. And then I saw Brad, and so I immediately bought his course, because it seemed like we had a lot of things in common as far as our kind of philosophies and the way we taught. And that turned out to be true when I bought his course. I bought it immediately. And, you know, I do what I normally do. I saw that it was for sale in ClickFunnels, through ClickFunnels. And so immediately, as kind of a position of leverage, after invested in it, I sent him an email and said, hey, you know, can I promote it as an affiliate? And then he shot me back an email immediately. It was like, oh, sure. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you just bought my course, and of course you can promote it. Like, I actually bought your course, you know, 2 years prior or something. And, you know, I was just doing the math in my head. I was like, 2 years prior, if that was 2 years ago, that must've been like my very, very first original SEO course, which was for sale on Gumroad. And kind of why is the long story, but just kind of why I'm saying it is this world, this internet marketing world, it's super duper small. And that was so cool that like I never even knew who Brad was. Apparently he purchased one of my courses 2 years prior. And then a couple of years later, I purchased his. And then, you know, I was interested in what he's doing. He was interested in what I was doing, and then kind of vice versa. And since then, and then the other cool thing, just super small world, and just kind of proves how much of a internet marketing mecca Austin is. Just so happened to be on Brad's sales page. It was kind of in this style of old sales letters or whatever. So it was like, from the desk of Nomad Brad, like location, Austin, Texas. And I was like, really? Like, I'm assuming this is accurate. Or maybe he hasn't updated about it. It's like, are you in Austin? Because that's where I live, for those of you that don't know that. And he was like, yeah, I'm in Austin. I'm like, what the hell? So I reached out to him, and we met up, I think the next week or the next couple of weeks, and started hanging out after that. But anyway, so
I got my Buzzmill t-shirt on, by the way.
Represent.
Love Buzzmill.
So yeah, that's kind of how me and Brad met. And you know, before we get into kind of what we're going to talk about, but anything you want to say there to kind of add some context? I don't even know what attracted you to me, because that was a long time ago, because I didn't even know who you were. And just to give you some more context, like, me and Brad were actually the same age. We took different paths, but we have a lot of similar experience. So we've both gone through like dating and pickup stuff. Brad actually started his internet marketing journey, I believe, in SEO stuff. And he kind of, through past jobs, kind of segued into some paid ads and Bing and stuff. And now he's kind of come back around to just seeing and understanding the kind of my philosophy on SEO. Because I like what you said on one of our conversations. I think when you bought the course, I don't know if you even went through all of it, because you said when you started to go through it and you saw that it was mostly SEO, you were like, it's just SEO. He's just probably doing SEO the way everybody else is. And then when you finally circled back around and went through it, you were like, it's nothing like I imagined. Like, it's the opposite of everything I've learned. So
yeah. Well, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about there.
Right. Super long intro, but
no, it's cool. It's interesting you said like he started in SEO. I mean, I started my first internet business back in 2009, and I actually did build a blog. I've told you about this, in Magic the Gathering, and it was pretty successful. And we had an ebook and we were selling stuff. But I ended up getting a job working for a bigger internet marketing company, and I kind of like gave up on that business, and I kind of forgot about SEO. And, you know, running like a ClickBank product, basically, I worked for the product that eventually became the top product on ClickBank. I was the marketing director and grew into that role. And, you know, we just had so much stuff going on. I forgot about SEO. It was like a lot of our affiliates were SEO, but a lot of them were paid traffic too. And anyways, I got to see like the whole landscape of internet marketing through that job. And I always really liked SEO, because when I found you, it's like, I met you and I was like, okay, cool. He does SEO and like, he's good at promoting ClickFunnels. That's what I think your course was angled towards selling ClickFunnels. That's why it was like, I don't know how people make money doing ClickFunnels. So I just want to see this guy's method. And then it was like SEO stuff. Oh, it's kind of hard or whatever. or that it takes a long time. That's the thing that people assume about SEO, because that's what everybody says about SEO. But Mr. Jeffries has figured out a few ways to speed up the process.
Yeah, it's kind of, I'm sure there's a couple other like whatever things that other people preach, but in my journey, it's been the reason that people are kind of decide to not do SEO is because it's hard, it's slow, and it's expensive.
Yeah, and your way of doing SEO is none of those things. I mean, I will say like the complexity. Well, we'll talk more about my thoughts about your methods, but just in general, the things that you've learned and distilled are very complex, but you distill them down into really simple. So it ends up being simple.
Right. Yeah, because that was my experience too. And I think what kind of kept me going, I guess I'm very stubborn, persistent, hard-headed, whatever. The little thought in the back of my mind that kept me going was what everybody sold us about SEO, which was like, it's a form of free traffic. It's free traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, free. We both had similar kind of like financial journeys. Like we didn't have a lot of money to work with. So that was why it was attractive to me. I knew it may have taken time, but that was all I had to work with. That's the only leverage I had was time. I didn't have a lot of money. And so I was like, if I can get this to work, that I just couldn't wrap my head around how I could make paid traffic work, because for that you needed time plus money. And I was like, well, I don't have the money. I don't have the budget. And sure, it can be, I guess, I don't want to say you can, the ROI is greater, but you can make more money quicker if you have a campaign that's working. And you have kind of more the experience on that side with working for a vendor that's had the money. You said you had to spend a lot of money to test it and to refine it down to get the campaigns that work. So, but once it did, obviously it's profitable, but like, I just that knowing, and I'm sure maybe there's a different way to get more ROI with paid traffic if you're doing like high ticket maybe, but just what the numbers I've seen was certain Facebook people, they're like, oh cool, we like 10 extra income. I'm like, while my numbers aren't as big as you guys, I can 10x my investment too. Mm-hmm. Because if we're looking at just net profit, mine's about the same.
And I would say like another big thing that just kept bringing me closer and closer to wanting to learn from you, like I would learn a new thing about what you did and be like, oh, that's actually cooler than I thought. But then I would kind of drift away again. And what another few things that kept bringing me back is, wait, he's doing this by himself. That's the thing, is like a lot of people with bigger numbers, they also have these like teams and a lot of moving pieces, a lot of like human pieces. And I liked that what you were doing was like just by yourself. They say like one person operation, one man operation, whatever. And I always wanted that, but I didn't know how to do it. And then you're over there like actually doing. Everybody else in the business world and the marketing world is telling me I got to build a team. Like that's the only way you're going to get bigger numbers, is you get the ball rolling yourself and you sell a few things and then you start building this like huge company. And I've just never wanted that. Like I want to like travel the world and live a pretty like, low key lifestyle. Yeah. Nomad lifestyle kind of thing. And that always, it just, as I learned more and more about what you're doing, I just could not deny, like, damn, he's doing it by himself for the most part. He's doing it in a way that's super cost effective. Like the amount of investment is tiny for the potential upside. That's pretty rare. A lot of methods in internet marketing ask you to invest a whole bunch up front. So you have the risk of your capital and you have the risk of uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen. And to be fair, SEO has some uncertainties as well. It's definitely not like 100% stuff, but with yours, you're risking a tiny bit of money and the uncertainty, whereas a lot of other methods risk a lot of money and uncertainty. So I like a lot of pieces that that you've brought together really appealed to me because of what you and I want from business. I mean, not everybody wants that, right? Like some people want the fulfilling, and maybe I will at some point, but for right now, these are the things that kept drawing me in. It's like really small startup costs, almost nothing really. And big upside, infinitely scalable. That was another thing. In the affiliate world, so many people, especially with ClickFunnels taking off and becoming this like center of the affiliate like world, I guess, the way that they and a lot of people teach affiliate marketing is build a personal brand list and then sell affiliate products. Right. Okay, cool. But there's other ways, like super affiliates have been out there for a couple decades promoting all the products. And I worked for a super affiliate. He didn't care, he wasn't tied to one product.
Mm-hmm.
And even as I started growing in social media, like I started my YouTube channel and I learned all these organic traffic methods, I liked it, but I still was like, but I can't just pivot today and turn my channel into a dog training channel. And I've always wanted that. I always thought that was cool because I like to see the bigger patterns, and you do too.
Yeah.
And I think affiliate marketers are drawn to that. We like the flexibility of being able to pivot into different niches. And you offer that. Not a lot of people do.
Yeah. And I mean, and my angle, I really like about it. And these are all things I've had to tweak to fit like exactly what I wanted for myself. But I kind of offer that to people without having to be what I consider an expert at that thing or spend years becoming an expert. We're just grabbing lists of keywords. Like as long as you can think, like, what would you search for to find this? Or like, what is an outside of the box way of thinking about how people might, if they were searching for X and this showed up in their face, would they move forward with this? Those are the kind of outside the box ideas I like to think of. But like, yeah, because like, the crypto stuff, I'm not a crypto expert, but Coinbase has a referral program and they have a whole bunch of keywords. And so like, I don't have to risk any money to guess whether or not crypto is going to go up or down. If I just build some mass page sites around Coinbase and refer a bunch of people and they give me free Bitcoin and that goes up, cool. I didn't really risk that much. I didn't risk my own money to invest in Bitcoin, assuming it was going to go down or whatever. And yeah, so I love that. And one of the other methods that I think fits in alignment with you and I's personality of like just what we want, just as a solopreneur, just have like not a lot of strings attached, not a lot of responsibility, is email marketing. But one of the downsides to that is similar to having like a branded or themed niche YouTube channel. You can't really pivot and like if it's a biz op list or whatever, or make money online list tomorrow, you can't just start selling quilts or something.
Yeah,
because quilts pay $500 commission or something.
Yeah,
but so I know it's very, people like Sam Evans say that it's and other people echo this too. It's wise to go hard in one niche or whatever. And I support that initially, but like one of the things that keeps this exciting for me is I just love the activity in different dashboards and stuff. Like we had talked about how we like the back office of Crack Revenue, I think, just the way it looks. So like I want to naturally just fill that up with commissions. I don't really care that I'm a millionaire from it. I just want to see activity back there. So this method with the mass page sites and the long tail keywords allows me to do that. I can just be like, boom, and build some sites, and then I got some commissions, and then that's a happy affiliate manager, and just get the favor and support of people, attention in that niche and stuff. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of like I liken it to like a buffet or something. I just want to put a little bit of everything on my plate. Like it's exciting.
And yeah, it's so flexible. And a theme of a lot of our conversations is us both realizing how infinite this is. Like I feel a lot of other methods even just traffic methods, they're kind of limited.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's only so many people who can promote this product on Facebook, and maybe that's not true.
And also, assuming the traffic, let's just say it is unlimited on places like Facebook and pay-per-click, there are some niches that I guess unless you have a secret back door, somebody working at Google, they won't let you bid on those keywords. Like a lot of the adult stuff, there's tons of traffic, but you can't get it with pay-per-click.
Mm-hmm.
So like the only way to capture a lot of times is through SEO. That's it.
And actually, even better example of that is branded keywords. So I know from the PPC world, like I learned, I've learned a lot of different paid traffic methods, but if you're doing SEM like Google AdWords or Bing ads, if you try to bid on branded keywords, you just can't do it. A lot of times the platform itself will recognize it. Like if you try to bid on Microsoft, it'll just block it. It won't even get the ad approved but with you've found a way to like, to put content in front of those branded keywords in the search, so from my side, one thing, I've talked to Google reps that are pretty high up. I had a business that was based on Google and Bing and I was spending a lot of money. So I got to know some legit ad strategists, like the more money you spend on these platforms, they keep sending you like better and better reps to help you.
It's a level 7. He's going to give you a level 8 rep.
Yeah. Like if any of you have ever used Google or Bing, at the first level of spend, when you spend like your first $10 or whatever, you'll get somebody who's basically just like a Zendesk worker who's just like, they might even call you and they'll give you some advice or whatever, but then if you keep spending and you keep, putting money in, they'll start sending you like top college grad, like really smart ad reps who are really good strategists and understand the platform. They'll listen to you. They cater their advice to your. So anyways, I've had that experience. And one thing that I learned, all of them, their bread and butter, their favorite thing to recommend is bidding on branded keywords, because your branded keywords, and for my business too, the branded keywords are always going to be like off the charts, skyrocket ROI.
But for the brand, right?
Yeah. So, but the point is those keywords are always valuable. And if you're bidding on your own branded keywords, you know how valuable they are. So I just think it's genius that you kind of found a way to tap into that. There's just so much stuff.
Can you speak a little more on that? Because I forgot I think it was our last call. You brought that up, and I don't know if you were going to make another point about it, or I don't know if you made another point about it on our call. But you were like, I think the genius and all the stuff that you figured out is just the branded keywords, like being able to go after the branded. Was that kind of or was there another thought that went along with that?
No, that's just something I've discovered as I've gotten more familiar with your philosophies. I'm like, I'm just matching it back to what I learned from the PPC world. So maybe we're getting too far into the weeds for this call. I don't know, but
I guess this will be a good point to piggyback off that. This just something I was thinking about. And this is a whole nother idea, like a whole 6-figure year idea that we were talking about last week about the PLR and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, for those of you private label write stuff, it's like, I think me and Brad both agree, like had the same philosophy of this, of like, this is, even though it's not terrible information, I just never took the time to actually look at any of it. So I just assumed it was horrible information, but it's not actually very bad. It's just that to an expert, it just seems so newbie, like information's like, oh, I would never buy this. I would feel bad if I did buy this accidentally. But to somebody just starting out, this is, decent information. But a couple ideas about those. So like with a lot of times with PLR, they create content around like popular and trending things like Snapchat or TikTok. So those are 2 examples of some branded content where I'm assuming you probably can't bid on those keywords, but for those specific keywords, those are brands that, because they're also platforms, get a crap ton of traffic. So all the Snapchat keywords, there's probably like 1 million keywords around that. And so if you can't go after that on PPC, I don't believe. And if you tried to create all that content with videos, I know there's some mass video creation tools out there, but it would probably come out kind of sloppy, I'm assuming. And you just have to spread it out through multiple channels to get all that content out there quickly. Whereas with the mass page sites, you could do that quicker, and you could go after a lot like the Snapchats and the TikTok stuff. And you could, like what me and Brad were talking about last week, you know, if there wasn't a Snapchat affiliate program thingy to offer for you to promote, you could literally just sign up for whatever, one of those PLR services, grab one of the Snapchat offers, put it on a service like Gumroad, redirect all that Snapchat traffic to your offer that's selling a $20 product, and probably make 6 figures in a year just off that one product, just because there's so many people that are searching for Snapchat. And I know popular topics is like, how can I make money with Snapchat? Well, what if you're selling a little thing that was like how to make 20 bucks a day on Snapchat? Conveniently, it's just $20, you know, you'll make your money back in a day or whatever. Anyway, yeah. And I guess I don't think about that too much anymore, just because that's so just so easy to me. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunity just with the branded keywords.
Yeah, I think you've given me what, like, I truly, after talking to you for, you know, the last few months and even over the last couple of years, as I've just slowly gotten to know like more of your philosophy about affiliate marketing and traffic and stuff, it's like, it made me relax a lot, because I was always stressed out, because you know, if you know sales, the like urgency of things really helps us be motivated to take action. So a lot of us talk about how opportunities are going away. You know, people will be like, oh, you can use TikTok, but it won't last long.
Yeah.
And I always felt that. I always felt that anxiety inside, you know, like, oh, I'm so scared that I'm going to miss out on the drop shipping thing or the, you know, the Bing ads thing or whatever. But when I saw what I've learned, what you're doing, I just don't feel that stressed anymore. I'm like, this could go, if all of these affiliate programs like went away tomorrow, like I could still make a living from this. It's so cool. And it's not even just Google. Like, I think it's going to transcend into whatever platforms come down later. You've got like these core philosophies that have really impacted not just how I think about marketing and I see more clearly how the internet works, but also just about business and kind of life. Like, I love your penny analogy. I feel like could be just, I mean, that should be like a book, just like a business book, you know, like it's such a simple thinking model, but it's really changed how I see a lot of the world. And there's just a lot of that's built in now to your newest version of your product. And yeah, so that relief of finally feeling like there actually is infinite abundance, you know, like we're all like kind of told like, don't worry, there's plenty of abundance out there. But sometimes it's hard to see that when everybody's telling you that the next thing is going to go away soon. You're scared. It's like, what if I miss out?
Yeah. I think I said this on our last call. Yeah, I was really frustrated about my brother introduced me to and I still never read the book, but I watched the movie The Secret like a decade ago, whenever it came out. And it made sense and I wanted to believe it and like the law of attraction, but like being in our space of this make money online world where there's all this fear and scarcity built in order to push products so that you'll buy, you know, urgency, false scarcity and stuff. I never felt confident in any of the strategies that I've come across, really, outside of a couple recently. And it's just because of the way I see the world now. But like a lot of the strategies that are sold, I never felt that, you know, the strategy connected. There was a strategy that connected with the law of attraction of like this abundance. It was like you got this abundant philosophy, but a scarce strategy to make money. And that
Yes.
frustrated me. And so I'm just happy now that I've got an abundant strategy to match my abundant philosophy that I worked. And you may feel this way now as you're seeing what can be done with this, but like I feel like on our last call, there's so many ideas that come out and just in conversation. Why I think this is such a valuable piece of this, what me and Tyler put together with this new program, that I don't get stressed out with scarcity or the idea of scarcity. I get stressed out now because there's so many ideas I can think of and I don't know how to get them all. It's the opposite of that.
I think the cool thing will be the students who join this program. I mean, each of us comes to the table with a unique set of priorities, experience. You know, some people are going to take this and go in a completely different direction that neither of us have ever thought of and be super successful. And even you and I, you know, slightly differ in our goals and in our experience and our understanding of different markets and stuff. And so it'll be fun to see how, you know, whoever joins this program, like all of us will get to experiment and be creative and try different ways of harnessing this strategy.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. Yeah, because it's and what's exciting about that is like unless that person decides to teach what they learn, they're going to be all by themselves in like a super blue ocean that they created for themselves that like literally no one else will ever find. Because like, you know, just in our conversation last week, I think you had brought up an idea that I had never thought of, but I'm pretty sure this would work, of just redirecting a bunch of mass page sites to a YouTube video for views, for like mass views. That would be awesome. And it would be a very affordable strategy to do that. Because if these sites are getting, you know, 7,000 hits a month, you know, and you can almost sell that as a service. You can be like, and just redirect that traffic to people's videos and be like, I'll send you 10,000 views a month and it costs you, you know, $10 and, you know, 15 minutes to set up the site. Pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm having the same thing the last few weeks. Is like the possibilities are so infinite. And look, let me just say, like, I've never seen a blog go from 0 to like getting any amount of clicks, much less like a significant amount of clicks within a week, 2 weeks. Like, I don't know. It just blows my mind. I know every different site's going to be different and stuff, but I have had some sites following your exact method that within a week are getting more clicks than I've got on sites that have been around for years. You know, like it's just so cool. It just harnesses all these like little leverage points to all together, and super effective.
It's like picking up all the breadcrumbs from all over the internet.
Yeah, I wanted to say, like, I genuinely thought that the original, or not the original, I've gone through now both previous iterations of your course. I thought SEO Affiliate Domination was the best, genuinely the best internet marketing course I'd ever been through. It was just so different. It's like I went from everybody else. It's like, I don't even know what a good analogy for this is, but you just put together all these pieces that you just think differently. I think you just think differently. Like you love to solve problems and puzzles. Like you're like, this isn't possible, but how do I make it possible? I think you really thrive in that kind of challenge where you're like, everybody else is saying this is impossible. What if it isn't? How might I get there? And then you somehow do. So, just in general, I think it was the best course that I'd ever been through as far as like blowing my mind with possibilities. And then this one is like all of that, but honed into this like perfect, elegant system that is like no fluff. And it's just, it's crazy, man. Like I told you after I went through it, I kind of realized that creating courses is kind of like writing songs or albums for us. Like this is kind of I've been learning how to play guitar, so that's on my mind, but this was a masterpiece. This is just a great album you put out. Like, you've been working on it for many years, and you've learned all these lessons from trying all this different stuff, and you put them all together in this beautiful, elegant, streamlined thing. And I think it's amazing.
I appreciate it. Yeah. I appreciate all that you said about the previous courses. I've had other people say that about the other, the one that I still sell and stuff. It was just, I think we both have our own courses, and I think we've noticed the same things. Like, I think we both, and we wanted the same thing. I think we learned so much, and we're so excited to share all that we know with people. And so we put that all in our courses. And just the feeling I got when I went through mine again was that I feel that it slowed the people that didn't have any desire to become an expert or master at this thing. It slowed them down and maybe discouraged them because it was too long. And, while I want everybody to be as, excited about this as me, I think we both realized this from our courses, that in order to get the result that I guess you could say we're promising people in the beginning, or what they hope to get, we really just need to give them a simple recipe, and they could achieve the same result. They wouldn't have all the context and that's what made us, great, was all the trial and stuff that we had to go through to get those steps of the recipe. Like, grandma's secret chocolate chip cookie recipe. I'm sure she had to do a lot of trial and error to arrive at those, simple steps. But, I think it achieves that goal of just getting people moved through there quickly. And kind of the approach I think I'm going to take moving forward is just like give them a shorter course on the front end. And if they choose to go to mastery level, then we can do that. But I think you'll agree, it takes a lot of effort to put in a course together. Even this short one, like, it takes a lot to this was a challenge because, and if you ever did the same to yours, to make a simpler version, it's hard to take out like 90% of the course and just subtract things that may not be essential, like, because those are all the things in your head that how allowed you to arrive at those epiphanies and stuff.
Right.
So it's a challenge, but I think I'm glad you had positive feedback. And I gave it to Brad like a week or so ago, and literally like that night or the next day, he was like, I stayed up till 2 a.m. I went through the whole thing. It's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't get much sleep. That was a little rough, but I was just so excited. Like, not only to learn, because even though you've shown me your process the last couple of months, your most up-to-date process, I still learned there's just something to being able to hear even you talk through your process. You say a couple little things here and there that add context, or I can start to emulate that in my own process. I can be like, okay, well, Greg always talks about this thing. I need to think about that. I need to think about that concept as I'm doing it. The other thing is like building it this way where it's that recipe that's all dialed in first. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to know how to bake or how, dough rises to make great cookies, right? If you just follow the recipe, great cookies are going to come out. And that's going to be so encouraging to anybody who just does the thing. I mean, I'm already, I'm seeing that it works, and it works pretty fast. So I think it's just going to be very encouraging, because a lot of SEO stuff, you don't get that. It's just like, nah, that's not part of the deal. You got to wait a year to see anything, to know if you're even doing the right thing. You got to wait a year.
Yeah. And that's even with the good courses. There's a couple that, like the authority hackers and stuff, like it still takes time. Is it a good course? Yeah. But like, man, you just got to wait, have patience, and put up quite a bit of money and stuff. So it's been a work in progress. And I feel like there's a lot of people that are out there that are kind of like the same situation as us. We needed something to fit our situation, which I feel like is most people's situation, at least in this country. we're, overworked and underpaid. We don't have a lot to work with, but we are motivated and we do want something more. And we know there's something better out there. And like, there has to be a way, because there has to be other people out there that were like us, because that had nothing and had something. Because sure, I know of a couple of people who they did get lucky and they were on like their last dollar, and then they magically through Facebook or whatever, overnight, and you're even one of those, you said, like your last little bit of money, it turned around overnight almost, because you figured one thing out. But that is not the norm. A lot of times that doesn't happen. We go deeper and deeper and deeper into debt at trying to make that winning campaign. But I was on the hunt for so long for a strategy that would, like, how do I just get from like nothing to something?
Yeah, 0 to 1.
Yeah, I don't want to go. I mean, I'm fine not going from $0 to $10,000 weeks or whatever. Like, just if you can show me how to make $1,000, I can take that and make 2 and make 3 and make 4. And there just didn't seem to be too many people catering to that, or if they did, the problem was it wasn't scalable. So it's like, well, you can make $100 a week, but that's all you'll ever make. And like,
for example, when people tell you to go on your Facebook page and just start like pounding your news feed for like friends or whatever, I just don't think that's a very sustainable. You might make $100 that week and it might inspire you. You might be like, wow, holy shit, I can make money on the internet. That's amazing. But what do you do next? What's the next step? But this system, it's like, once you start seeing how it's working, it's like, okay, I just need to do more of this.
Yeah. And I love how I should probably make a list of all the things I like about it, but just like the anonymity, you don't have to, go get 3 in your products free, like MLMs and stuff. You don't have to, spam your news feed. And you can be in all the niches that you want all at the same time. So it's pretty cool. I like that. I mean, you may be spreading yourself a little thing, but I just like just being able to diversify, like got a little bit of crypto, got a little bit of ClickBank, got a little ClickFunnels, got a little, health offers, because they all sell, and it's kind of, I don't know. It's just nice to have a little slice of the pie, because, and just to experience yourself, and also you get a little hint of like taste of the data, because like, there's all this stuff that's said and preached out there, but you never really know until you are in that niche, and that you can confirm that stuff once you have the real data. You don't have to just follow whatever somebody else says, because some stuff maybe there's a lot of misdirection out there, and there's some things that sell and I don't know why they sell, like, I don't know where this offer went, but it was there on ClickBank until a couple months ago. But that surveys for cash one, that was there for years. I don't know why it sold, but it sells really well. I don't know why they took it off, but it was selling for years. People buy that because they believe that they're going to make a lot of money taking surveys. It sells. I don't know. It just, you don't have to believe it, but like, it makes money. So if you want to, and the only way you would know that is if you tried to promote it, but like, you wouldn't. That's an example of an offer that personally I don't feel too comfortable sharing with like my friends.
Yeah.
But I would like to make money with it. And so how do you go about doing that? And, this method allows you to do that. Whatever. But
yeah. There's a lot to say. It's all good stuff.
I just got some things that we talked about over here on the side. Like, we covered the kind of simplicity of the course, and kind of why I did that. Just me and Brad kind of knows the same things with our courses, where it's, again, another thing that we have in common is just sort of our teaching styles, I feel, is similar. And the way that we structure our course, I could tell that, we just teach in the same way, because we want to tell you what to do, but also give you all this awesome context that's going to like really help you be the best marketer of that thing, or that skill. And I haven't really ever had too many people say the opposite of what you said about the SEOAD but they've actually just said kind of what you said. They're like, wow, compared to these other courses out there, it's taught me more than all these other courses, and I really appreciate it. It took me a long time to go through it maybe, but like now when I see those other courses, I realize how like little everybody else knows, I guess, because they're just keeping people in the newbie zone, like, anyway, I don't want to like name other courses, but there's a bunch of newbie kind of communities out there that they never get past the newbie level. They just teach, and I don't even know if the basics that they teach are the best basics, but it's just kind of keeps them just in that newbie zone. Like just all the stuff that I learned, all along the way of just like, well, I guess this is how SEO is, I guess,
Yeah.
see you in 10 years, I'll just be chipping away at these blogs,
The upfront promise of SEO is so awesome. It's like build a website, people show up, you make commissions. All you have to do is keep building the website, you'll make more money. And it's just so cool. And for me, I'm fascinated by learning about different niches and stuff. I'm like, this is something we both said, but we're more motivated by learning sometimes than even anything else. It's just like, I just want to see what do people think about this topic? Like, what will they click on? I've always thought that with ads too, testing ads. You're like, really? That's the one that won? That's so crazy. But yeah, you've
got a little bit of similarity with what you do with Bing ads too, with this method, because, well, we're both working with keywords, and other than like the copy of the ad, which you have a very simplistic approach to your ads as well. So almost like the mass page content generation. I love how your like headline formula can be as simple as like literally just put the keyword there. They'll click it.
Yeah.
And your whole job is really just to get them through the offer, which, just like me, I don't create the offers. We're just pushing traffic. That's how I see this. We're the bridge that connects the keywords of the traffic to the offers. We're right there in the middle. That's kind of your job as being and pay-per-click as well. And yeah, it's easy to test is kind of what I'm getting at. So you don't have to, you just have to know, like, how could I connect these dots? What would someone, like if they were searching for this, would this be a relevant offer? Would they possibly buy? And you just have to know that. You don't have to spend 12 years becoming an expert at like ammo or whatever, health and survival or whatever. No, you don't. You just have to kind of know like a piece of it, know how to think, I guess, how people would think to search for that thing.
That's where the creativity of this type of affiliate marketing comes in, is piecing together the right offers with the right traffic. And again, I've always wanted that, but I didn't know how to do it other than paying a lot of money up front for the paid ads, because you get the same thing from paid ads, right? Like once you start running ads, I mean, we've run some ads together, like you start seeing right away, oh, people click on this, they don't click on that. Most of the searches about this topic are this kind. I thought it would have been something else. And you get truth pretty fast. And yeah, this is an even more cost-effective way of seeing what people are up to. And then again, I'm just at the kind of beginning of this process, but it's so cool because what's going to come out of it? Like if you find out you've done this, you've been promoting in different niches for years, you start to see patterns. You start to see, wait a second, I wouldn't have expected that, but actually this thing's really profitable. Like everybody thinks it's not, but it is. Or
yeah, and I love that with those, when you get that information, when you get that data, I almost want to like, I've tried telling people, but it's almost not even worth your time to tell it because most people won't believe you. That's the thing about like knowing the truth. That's why I'm not very good at selling at it. Why I kind of, why I don't really want to get better at it and kind of, yeah, whatever. You don't have to be good at selling for this method to work. And like, again, like when, yeah, most people on the street or your friends or family, if you told them what really sold because you had the data, they wouldn't believe you, or they wouldn't, wouldn't agree with you that, oh, there's no way that's sold. I'm like, well, I'm not asking your opinion. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
this is how much money I made last week. It's crazy.
I definitely learned that working for the dating space. Like, we would create sales pieces or copy that people would be like, nobody would ever buy from that. I would never buy from that. And then a lot of people out there on the internet disagreed because they bought a lot of that product. And every single day there was hundreds of sales coming in. And so when you see that, you're just like, well, screw my stupid opinion. Like, I'm just going to let the data tell me what to do. And I'm just excited to collect all this data. Like, I'm starting to put my hooks out in the water, and I'm starting to get some bites, and I want to see where this all goes.
Yeah, it's pretty simple little process, kind of similar to PPC. You just cast a wide net out there. Google will tell you if it's working or not, and if it works really well, literally just do more of it, and that's how you scale it up. Or if you're going the extra step of like plugging in your analytics, it'll show you the keywords that are responsible for that traffic, and you can kind of that in itself, that data of what people are searching for will give you clues, and you could build, like, if you want to, niche sites specifically around those keywords, and then just stay there forever.
Yeah, there's so many growth opportunities. There's so many different ways to leverage the traffic. I mean, you and I have brainstormed a dozen. I'm sure you have dozens more in your head. I'm coming up with new ones. Other people will come up with new ones. Once you have, I mean, just think of this. Like, if you've ever tried to promote things, okay, cool. You got this product. You think it's great. What's the hardest part? Getting people to the offer. That's what everybody's trying to teach you. If with affiliate marketing, is just traffic. Affiliate marketing boils down to traffic. That's it. They're saying post on your Facebook wall because that'll get you a few clicks. That'll get you a little bit of traffic. They're teaching you Facebook ads or Bing ads because that's how you get people to see your offer. And I really feel like this traffic is just infinite.
Yeah. And maybe now's a good time to bring that up about, you've got the vendor side of kind of perspective of that. So you said that about Dow Batas and maybe some other related products or whatever, but you said your friends in the space, they might be awesome copywriters. They come up with a new offer and it probably converts really well, but it means nothing without the traffic. So since y'all had a big email list, they would basically be like begging you, please mail this offer so that we can make money, so we can pay rent this month. And not everybody gets to hear or see that, but since you guys are on this call, you get to kind of hear some of this kind of inside scoop of like behind the scenes of like what really goes on with these vendors and stuff, these product creators. While they may be awesome at copywriting and stuff, I feel like, and that's a money-making skill, learning sales and whatever, I get it. But, they're kind of tied and married to that offer or whatever offer they create. And they're going to put a lot of time and effort into crafting that message. Us, I feel we have a better position. We're in more of a position of power because we can push the traffic, we can drive the traffic, and we have the freedom and flexibility to drive whatever kinds of traffic we want to whatever offer. So like, while they're desperately needing whatever, some traffic from us or whatever, we can direct traffic wherever we want, whenever we want. And they're just like crossing their fingers, hoping that we're gonna, consistently send them traffic, which, if a partner of theirs has a more higher converting offer, where do you think we're gonna redirect that traffic next month? And they get cut off. So I think that the kind of tiers of, the hierarchy of marketers is like, you got the copywriters and stuff down here, and we're up here. We're like higher, even though I guess maybe to some degree you could say we're smarter or whatever, but like there's a lot of effort that goes into becoming a copywriter or whatever, but we have a little bit more power and control over here and without having to, learn how to be good at sales and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. I also just think that the things appeal to different people's natural tendencies, right? Like, we're fascinated by mass data. Some people might not be. They just want to be the best provider of their product out there, you know, and get better and better at helping people to make that decision. So I definitely wouldn't say I'm smarter than the good copywriters I know. They tend to be a genius level. But same with traffic people, you know, you meet enough traffic people, you're like, oh my God, these people are freaking smart. Like,
yeah, I guess that's not the best word, but like, I don't know, just we need each other equally, but
yeah.
like, I almost feel like to some degree, the offer creators need the traffic. Like you could put an okay offer in front of lots of traffic and still make sales.
Yes.
But if you have a great offer, if there's no traffic, you know, traffic kind of like in the offline world, it's the lifeblood of any store. So if you have an awesome store, but it's on a side road in the middle of a desert with no signs leading there, no one's ever going to find it. So, but you know, you can put an average restaurant, average quality, whatever restaurant in like downtown New York, and it's probably going to succeed just because there's so many people passing by, and like it's probably going to get enough business to stay in business. But anyway, that's the point I'm kind of trying to make. But
well, that's another thing that we've talked about. Like you could use this to sell your own offers if you do want to build funnels and stuff. You now have traffic.
Yeah, and we talked about that for your offer and stuff, and even mine. But I left it for those of you guys watching. I left it wide open for you guys for the last couple of years because I thought most people were like, surely going to build mass page sites for my course, but that didn't really happen. So I'm just gonna probably do that myself now here soon. But you know, it's brought wide open for Brad, you know, because there's not that many people out there selling being, you know, affiliate kind of courses, and there's only, I mean, you know, the others that are. And I know they don't have any interest really in SEO, doing it themselves. And so it's just, I love how SEO is a way that you can literally just crown yourself king of that niche. If you're really good at it, you can just like, you know, you could, you know, I put myself like sexiest man in Austin. You could be like best Bing marketer in the world. And like, you could rank yourself for that. And then dominate all the other positions below it to validate that first ranking. So it's cool how you can just engineer. You know, I don't know if you were super cool in high school, but you know, me and Tyler were just sort of right there in the middle. So it's cool that, you know, we can just engineer our own popularity in the world, and it's so much easier than it ever was in like high school and stuff. You can just make yourself famous to the world or whatever, which is crazy that the internet allows you to do that. But
yeah.
And then most people, since they don't know SEO, they just think that that must be the truth. I mean, Google wouldn't lie, you know, and surely it wouldn't lie 10 times in a row. I mean,
yeah. When you know SEO, which I'm starting to have a pretty firm grasp on it now after hanging out with you for a while, you can see there's some things that Google just isn't that good at. And there's some searches out there that you're like, there really aren't any good results for this, but most people wouldn't know that. They're just like, well, this must be the best result. And I can tell because I can kind of reverse engineer the SEO. I'm like, those aren't the best results, but there must be nothing better because there's there's just so much, the skill level up of going through this and seeing it happen and putting all the pieces together. It just feels so awesome. I feel like, you know, one thing, if you're in this space, one of the privileges of learning traffic is that you can help people out. Like if you have a friend who's starting a bakery or whatever, like you could send them traffic. You could help people grow their YouTube channels. You could help them grow their email list. So I'm excited about that down the road as well. Like you can help people a lot.
Yeah. And it's just like I mean, if you're doing this method, it's just a tiny little tweak you'd need to make. It's just kind of, I guess, doing it the more traditional way but like my brother lives in the hometown that we grew up in right now. And he he works for like UPS at the moment, but he also does massage stuff. And so I was like, whenever you're ready, just say the word and I'll crown you the king of massage therapists, top massage therapists, and for all the related keywords in our small town. And I'll just suppress everybody else, because, to make room for you on page one. And it would just, the people would have to find them if they're searching for that. And it's just a cool thing to be able to do to provide for friends or family or whatever, to just help them out and just, make their little businesses just thrive and bring them business for years and years to come. Because on the local level, most people don't go that granular. And so if you do, that stuff sticks for years and years. Like I think in 2015 or so, I ranked a video for my friend back home for his personal training business. And I'm pretty sure if you type in our hometown personal trainer, I think his video is still on page one. It's like, it just sits there because you got to think, in a town of like 28,000 or so where me and Tyler are from, how many other people there that have small businesses know anything about search engine marketing, so.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, do you have your diagram that you showed in the course of the circles?
Not pulled up or
not
anything.
on hand.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, it's in the course, the true competition.
Yeah, I think like if you do happen to have that handy, it'd be cool to throw that up on the screen. But I think that one concept will probably be one of the more impactful things for me for like the rest of my life. Not only just in this particular niche, or this particular method or traffic or affiliate marketing or SEO, but also in business and kind of, in life again. So it's you stacked all these really elegant thinking models into your process because that's what you've used to achieve your success. And I think we could talk about that for a second.
Yeah, let me.
Unless it's super hard to find, but
I gotta forget where it's at. I think it's in the beginning. Yeah, is it mindset? I think. Yeah. Let me just pull it up real quick. I'm just gonna do it full screen so you can see it while you're talking.
Yeah, I like that we were just talking about local SEO.
Yeah, can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I don't know where you'd ask. I wish I had written this down. This is why it's so important to have like a little journal to document your journey. And I know it's hard to convince yourself of that in the beginning, but just trust me, you'll be thinking to yourself later. I don't know when I came up with this, but I'm so glad that this came to me somehow because this was one of the things that I needed in the beginning. It kind of goes along with that law of abundance, whatever, law of attraction philosophy. But people said things like this to me, I guess, like, oh, like whatever, there's plenty of opportunity. But no, I'm a visual person, so I just need it illustrated for me. And when this came to me, I was like, oh, this makes perfect sense. And like in my experience, this has proven to be true. So, yeah.
And so what is it again? Can you just like real quick walk us through it?
Yeah, these are just little circles here, but what they represent is here on the left-hand side, that represents the whole world. And I kind of say this part in the middle here different each time I say it, but basically you got the whole world here. And this second circle was really what, I don't know when this hit me or when this came to me or whatever, but this was the big epiphany to me, this second one here, which that represents, and this is in reality much, much smaller than this in comparison to the whole world. This represents all the people in the whole world that are just interested in like making money online or making money or being self-employed or starting a business. Like it's that number to start out with is way smaller than you think. I think I was talking to my accountant the other day, and I don't know where these stats come from. It could just be made up, but it's probably somewhat realistic or real or whatever. But he said that in the US, for people that are age 30 to 60, only about 7% of them identify as business owners. Like some of them may be like self-employed, maybe they drive Uber or whatever, but even those people don't consider themselves like business owners. They're just like self-employed. And so anyway, this first circle is just people in the whole world that like just want to start a business, because most people are fine being employees, or they're just not ambitious or whatever. And that's fine. I don't know, but it's just, I've never been that way. I've always been an entrepreneur. I just didn't know what that was called. And I didn't know that was a possibility. Because going way back, I remember when I was in 6th grade, I would like sell my baseball cards to this kid at school. And in 1 week, I made more money than I made all year for allowance. My parents only paid me. But my parents didn't pay me very much. My dad paid me like $1 to $2 a week, but like in 1 week I made $65. So I was like, this is more than I make it for my birthday. So like there's something to this. So that's what the second circle represents. And then the third one, or the one going farther to the right, represents, the people that kind of get started, that are interested in making money or starting their own business, get started and they just give up, on the first try or whatever. There's a lot of people, or they talk a lot about the things they want to do, and they just never go through it or whatever. They're just interested, but they never get started. And so that's where most people kind of drop the ball and stuff. And they probably maybe they joined an MLM, it failed, they got scammed. And then they said, well, all businesses are just scams. I'm just going to go back to my safe, secure job. And from there, the smaller circle to the right is people who they get scammed or whatever, or they just fail, try a couple biz ops, and they keep going for some reason. They lose a bunch of money, like me and Brad, or me. I know I lost a bunch of money and dragged Tyler into a bunch of that in the beginning. It was like failure after failure after failure after failure. So lost so much money in biz ops and network marketing and stuff. But for some reason, I'm just like hard-headed and keep going, because like pursuing this idea of like working for yourself was just better than continuing to work for someone else forever. That was just what kept me going. I was like, well, if I do somehow eventually make it, it will be worth it to have a few years of freedom, to not be tied to a job. And then we go a little bit deeper, and this is kind of when it gets really ridiculous. So, and this could probably go smaller and smaller and smaller. But this next circle to the right, almost to the little black dot, it represents like people that have made it through all these first circles. They're interested in business. They tried, failed, kept going, failed again or whatever. Or maybe they're, let's just say they're interested in like affiliate marketing and SEO, and they kept going or whatever. And then you got to go drill a little bit deeper of the people that are interested in like affiliate marketing, SEO, know anything about like what the heck we're doing, which is like mass page sites like that. Just, you're already getting into like the spec, area, but I guess that could be the next to last one of just like, these are the people that are interested in affiliate marketing and SEO, because going through all these little circles, they're just taking that second black circle or whatever. There's a lot of people that make it through all these circles, but they're interested in Shopify. They're interested in drop shipping. They're interested in Udemy. They're interested in print on demand. They're interested in Facebook ads. So they make it through all these little circles, and they're not even anywhere close to our competition, because they're doing something completely different. Interested in making money online, but something completely different. Will never cross paths. And so, you get all the way down here to this little last dot, and these are the people that are, interested in making money online. They've probably failed a lot, and that caused a lot of people to give up. They were just persistent and just kept going. they found themselves going down the rabbit hole of like SEO, and combine that with affiliate marketing, combine that with mass page sites. Somehow came across my course or whatever. And then they took all that information and they used it to promote the same product that we're promoting. Like, let's just use ClickFunnels, since a couple of people out there use this method to promote ClickFunnels. But why I bring ClickFunnels up is people in the group, ever since I've been in there, they always say the same question year after year: is ClickFunnels saturated? Is ClickFunnels competitive? Which is a crazy question, but I get it, because that's how, me and Brad, we kind of say the same thing there. That's how, especially being somebody that I don't feel like my sales skills are super stellar. I always feel like I'm late, I'm about to miss out. This is the last year, this loophole's about to close and stuff. But I have this illustration to prove that, like, to show you that your competition, it really is basically non-existent. But if you get all the way to the end of the right-hand side of this little illustration and you're worried about competition, you probably know on a first name basis who your competition is. Like, yeah. Brad knows who is selling a course similar to his. I can name one guy, but there's probably maybe a handful of others, and that's it. That's all. And they know each other. So, like, and same way with, ClickFunnels, like the half of them are probably been through this course, or my course. I know it because I go there and I hit the back button. I'm like, yep, sure enough. But I don't know. I've been talking a lot, but is that?
Yeah, I just wanted to have you go through that, because it's just so elegant to show. This is like a life lesson for all of us, that no matter what it is you think you want to do, you're like, oh man, I wish I could just do that. Well, guess what? There aren't that many people that want to do exactly what you want to do. And this just really reminded and reaffirmed that for me. Like, you've been doing it for years with yourself and like a group of people that follow you.
Yeah.
And it's
literally just us, guys.
Yeah.
Make that clear.
Yeah. So I trust that you're saying that because you've observed it. You've just seen it. Like, if maybe you've put out your first course and then you were never able to sell something online because so many people just took the advice and like crowded you out of every single market, you would have maybe thought about something different, right? You might have been like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. But it's not even close to that. There's no way to compete in this space, I don't think, because it's just infinite. Like,
yeah, you can't, but like, maybe you can't. But like, what I like about it is with some of these other methods out there, like, let's just say Facebook, you might have to tweak the method to tweak it to a way to where it wasn't as competitive as before. Whereas with this, you don't have to change the method. You may just have to slightly pivot by changing your niche. So, like, you could literally go hide yourself in the weight loss supplement niche, only promoting weight loss supplements to Germany.
Yeah.
Like, haha, no one else will find me here. And they probably won't for years,
it's
whatever.
It's just so infinite. And so, another thing I wanted to talk about with you on this call is another concept you've introduced to me that I just keep rolling it over in my mind. And so this basically is a perfect illustration of whatever it is you think. There's probably a lot of people doing that. There aren't. Like you said, the amount of people whoever will try this is so tiny. The people who will stick with it, tiny. Like, it's just so encouraging. A lot of systems make you think that you got to be one of the, early ones, or else you're going to miss out. It's the same thing. So there's no competition. But another concept you introduced that I really would love to hear or talk about with you more is the no resistance marketing.
I just made a note today that I might add this in the mental models, because I don't know why I forgot that. I just haven't said it in a while, but it's so, yeah, I'll cover that. Man, I just want to say, I'm really proud of me being able to explain this little circle analogy in like 3 minutes. That's when I did it, I was like, holy cow, I didn't even know I could explain it in 3 minutes. But that was pretty cool. But what I'll switch back to.
And you just saved us years of having to figure that out on our own. Because none of us know. I mean, anybody who hasn't done it themselves, we don't know. We don't know. Maybe it is really crowded, right? That's always the fear with these courses for me, is like, well, maybe I did miss the boat, or maybe it is crowded.
That's the thing. And I think we've talked about this in conversations, just that fear of that stops people. And that's why I put it in the beginning of the course. It stops people from ever getting started, because especially, let's just say somebody found this information 2 years later. I think you've said this in a call. Maybe you are aware, maybe there's a date somewhere in the video and you're like, oh man, this stuff's from like 2018. It probably doesn't work anymore. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if there's anything I learned about SEO, it's like most stuff still works. It never stopped working.
I mean, that's what stopped me from being successful with your first course that I bought, because I saw, if you remember, there was an update module in your course where you were like, well, turns out this particular method, Google didn't love it or whatever. And so I was like, oh, okay, I guess it doesn't work anymore. But if I would have tried it, I know it does work because I accidentally did it on one of my sites. The strategy that you were teaching in 2015 or 16, I accidentally did that on one of my sites, and I was getting traffic from it. And that showed me like, I guess it's working. So anyways, if I would have just executed, if I would have followed your recipe back then, I probably would also have won a dream car by now. But I didn't, because I got too smart for myself. And I was like, well, he updated it. And this is when I'd never met you, right? Never planned on meeting you. You were just the teacher. And I was like, oh, he must have tried it for a while. It worked. And then now it doesn't work anymore. But I made that conclusion and I never tried it. Yeah. So that kind of mindset can really screw you up. And that's why I think it's really cool that you included that in the beginning, because that has stopped me from getting success specifically with your previous method. That is one of the times where I did not trust, and I thought myself out of success.
Yeah, and I get that. I hate it when people do it with my information, because I've tried to I try to come across as like a trustworthy person, because I know how that feels and stuff. And you always feel like they're purposely leaving one or two pieces of information out, because that's what really gives them the edge. And I try to give people everything.
No resistance marketing was the next thing.
Yeah. I had another thought, but and I think there's something else I want to include with no resistance marketing, but it's pretty simple. So all these things are just little epiphanies and things I've thought of along the way that have their solutions and for my weaknesses. And when you stack them all together, they give me and you guys an edge if you have the same weaknesses. So this came from a lot of my strategies have to do with like, how can I sell a product without having to sell it? Because I've got copywriting books and stuff, but I don't really want to be the best seller or whatever, but I like to recommend stuff. I think me and Brad teach in the same way. I sell by teaching. So I sell by educating. So like how I used to sell ClickFunnels was teaching people how to use it, because I think of like how I wanted people to teach, how I wanted to be introduced to a product by other people, which for me, it was like, if something's $100 and you can show me a strategy to make $100 with that tool, hell yeah, I'm going to buy that tool, because you just showed me how to use it to make money. A lot of people are just trying to hit you over the head and say, ClickFunnels is the coolest new widget, whatever, buy it through my link and get all these ridiculous bonuses that never going to go through. But anyway, so the way, that's how I arrived at this zero resistance marketing. And I think it's useful to helpful to have like a catchy name to call something. Just otherwise it's just like, what's that thing you're doing? I'm like, well, it's just kind of like this thing. So it's catchy to have a little name to call it. So I just call it zero resistance marketing because it reduces the friction and you don't have to be good at selling to make money, especially when you combine this with mass page sites and stuff. So all that comes down to, maybe this is kind of what you're getting at with the branded stuff too, is just connect. And I think a little piece of this came from Keith Baxter. I don't know if you know him. He's like not old, but like he's a veteran SEO. But he years ago, and I'll promise I'm getting there. But years ago, I went to the Internet Marketing Party, and he lives around Houston, but he used to come out here to Austin every month to come to it. And I just started coming, and I was still like super newbie. It still felt awkward there because I wasn't making really any money, I don't think. And I knew of him. I didn't really know his whole story and stuff. So I managed to come up to him, and I was like, trying to get nuggets from people. But the way it came out was just like typical newbie questions, like what's the secret to making money online, basically. And he gave me without missing a beat, he gave me like the simplest answer. I never forgot it. He said, making money online, it just comes down to connecting traffic to offers, like putting offers in front of traffic, basically one of those two ways. And I was like, really? Like he gave me it was the answer. It wasn't the answer I was looking for, but years later, I kind of remembered that, and I was like, it really is that simple. Kind of coming back to our previous, what we were talking about with the vendors and the traffic and stuff. If you can just get traffic in front of offers, the offers don't even have to be that good. A portion of people are going to buy, just straight up. Like, you may not make that many sales, but you will make some sales. And so what I've done a little with the mass page sites is just to connect branded keywords or very, very targeted keywords to the most targeted offer that I can. So like if you're searching for Coinbase, I'm not going to try and sell you on some other Bitcoin wallet. I'm literally just going to take you to the the Coinbase homepage, or maybe there's some sort of little opt-in or offer related to that. Basically, reducing any sort of friction, because, and there's a lot of thoughts. I'm trying to kind of explain at once, but like going back to ClickFunnels, when it came out, I noticed that I was doing a little bit of this, and I know a lot of other affiliates were doing this. Since ClickFunnels it was a new kid on the block. They went after Infusionsoft and lead pages. And so one angle that people were using was like, oh, you're searching for lead pages. Lead pages sucks. ClickFunnels is the new software, like it's better. Mm-hmm. And I did a little bit of that in the beginning too, but like kind of, I guess at the heart of zero resistance marketing is one thing I've learned from just living is that you're way better off in most cases just reinforcing pre-existing beliefs of somebody than trying to change their mind. So like if, you've got religion, you've got sports teams and stuff. Like if maybe you have a sports team or something, but like when I was a kid, I used to watch baseball. So like Atlanta Braves, and I'm not crazy about baseball, but I like the Atlanta Braves. But like, there's diehard sports team people like the Dallas Cowboys and stuff like so if someone grew up around the Dallas Cowboys, you're not going to be very successful in being like, here's 10 really good reasons why you should not support Dallas Cowboys anymore and why you should switch to the whatevers. Same way with religion. It's like, oh, you're Christian. Here's 7 great reasons why you should switch to Islam today or whatever. Like, you'd be much better off just saying like, oh, you're Christian, like here's a Bible or something, where you can buy the newest version of whatever this, whatever Bible or some religious product, or ClickFunnels, reinforcing that existing belief of like, if they're searching for ClickFunnels, then you can be like, basically like, that's a great decision. Here's 7 reasons why, here's 7 features that really stand out and why I recommend it. Blah, blah, blah. And then here's a link to get the 14-day free trial. And by the way, if you sign up through my link, I'll give you these awesome bonuses, as opposed to like, stop. You just came to this page for ClickFunnels. You're an idiot. You're about to make the worst decision of your life. Switch to Groove Pages.
Yeah.
Like, it makes people feel stupid, and it just give them what they want, basically. With the health niche, if they're, let's just say, if they're buying Twinkies online or whatever, sell them Twinkies. That's not the time and place to be like, hold up. Did you know that Twinkies cause cancer? And eating celery sticks is much healthier. Buy this new green smoothie, whatever product. Like, probably you may make some sales, but I don't think you're going to be very successful. You can just, anyway. So that's kind of the heart of it. Just zero resistance marketing. Just give them exactly what they are searching for. And
the long tail keyword is the key to that, and that's what you've been man. I've really learned, like, I think I learned about long tail from Spencer, whatever, like Long Tail Pro or whatever, years and years ago. But it never gelled until I heard you describe your penny thing, which, again, I don't know how much you want to talk about.
Yeah, because like, just some history for folks that aren't aware of this. I have heard of long tail keywords too, and Long Tail Pro, which is Spencer Hall's product. But long tail was just sort of like it existed, but it didn't exist really in our world. Like, it was a thing, but we just sort of had to think up what are people typing in. There were no tools out there that I knew of that you could grab these. Not until Google autocomplete came out in 2010 did some of these other long tail kind of keywords start to emerge, like keyword tools start to emerge, because it just, were people typing those in? Sure, but was there any tool for us as SEOs to gather that data? No, our best tool at the time was Keyword Planner, and those weren't exactly long tail keywords. Those were mid tail keywords at best. And Google, and just like, that is just, the Keyword Planner tool is like straight up lies. It's just guesses. It's for advertisers. It's not for SEOs.
And it even lies to advertisers. But
I mean, and they even made it harder in the last couple of years, because used to be they used to give you a certain amount, like this keyword gets around approximately 500 searches per month, and then a couple of years ago they changed it, and it's ridiculous. It'll be like, this keyword gets somewhere on average between 500 and 5,000. Mm-hmm. That's a very large range. Mm-hmm. Which one is it? So yeah, there's a lot of things. Timing has really worked in our favor. I mentioned this on previous calls of just like expired domains, the fact that the internet has been around for like 30 so years or whatever. And that means there are a lot of domains that people have purchased that they've let expire. That's amazing. And every year there's probably millions more that expire, which just makes what we do even easier and faster and cheaper and stuff. It's amazing how all these things just came together. So, timing, man, I don't think this is a strategy that's going to go away. I mean, I know it's not going to go away anytime soon. It's pretty scalable, but I think I've said this to Brad, like, I just feel in my gut, and it's usually never wrong about this stuff, that there's some kind of change that's coming. I don't have stats and data reports to show and graphs and stuff. I just feel that with AI and voice searching and all that stuff, things are changing, and I don't know what it's going to change to, but I think that we've got a window of a couple of years to just gather as much money as we possibly can with like not just this method, but like SEO in general. I think this year, I believe Google shifted from being a search engine to be a content curation engine. So if you notice, it doesn't always show 10 search results. It'll show like a lot of pieces of information related to that search. So like if Brad and I were like very popular celebrities, it may show 5 search results of websites. It may show an image. It may show 3 popular videos that just got posted. It paints like this picture. It's a curation machine as opposed to, a search engine, just a search engine. So it's changing. And anyway, this is an abundant process, but just be aware of where you are in time and history and stuff. And I think that now is a very unique time to just leverage this process. Anyway, I feel like I'm talking a lot, but please chime in. You've got a lot of awesome feedback to share.
Well, I just love that the long tail philosophy is like, it's giving people exactly what they just searched for. And, you found a way to leverage it so you can do it to many long tail keywords all at once. It's just it's just an elegant system. And what I like about long tail too is you're not trying to, like every other SEO strategy teaches you to compete over those few results. Like all I've ever heard about SEO is competing for page 1 for high volume terms. And you have experience because you used to rank for some really high volume terms and you didn't make that many sales, which got you to go look into these long tail keywords. But then you were like, well, but to create long tail content would take forever, like a whole lifetime to create a full 10, anyways. It's just, I don't know where I'm going with this. I know it's changed how I think about.
I'll try to touch on a couple of those things. Yeah, like my process, I didn't go to sleep and one day it just came to me. It was, I followed and actually, I guess you say, succeeded with what everybody else said do, but I didn't succeed in the terms of making money. I succeeded in ranking, and I was like, where's the traffic? Where's the money that's supposed to come with, I'm ranking I used to rank for ClickFunnels review, ClickMagick review, Lead Pages review. Didn't make hardly any sales at all. I was like in the negative. I was like, it took so many resources to get here, and I'm not even making any sales because first you you're combining money, combining time to get the rank, and then once they assume they click your link in the search engines, they get there. Then you got to be a freaking copywriter and then be good at selling, I guess. And then even if you are, and I don't want to say I'm great at copywriting, but I feel like these weren't sloppy articles. These were good reviews. What I found, and this was something that no one will tell you unless you've experienced this, hardly anyone clicked anything. So they didn't click the links. They didn't click the banners. But guess what? I noticed they did click the back button. And so I was like, well, if I can take over that, then send them just where I want them to go, kind of with the zero resistance marketing, then I can potentially, stack the odds in my favor because this is a weakness of mine or whatever. And so let me just get them to where I want them to go. So if I can get them to the page and they hit the back button, well, let me just send them where I wanted them to go since they didn't click the link on my page. And that's where I noticed where literally if they come to my page for lead pages, if they hit the back button and I just take them to the sales page, a portion of those people would buy. And so that was the aha moment for me. I was like, oh, if I just do this at scale, I don't have to be good at selling. These products already have sales pages. I just need to get them there. Again, just traffic to offers and make sure it's relevant, because initially I was just doing the whole site to ClickFunnels because that's what I wanted to make money on. And although that worked, it worked a whole lot better when I sent them where they wanted to go, not where I wanted to go. So basically this is kind of the evolution of me, adding and subtracting the things I needed to make SEO work for me, because the way SEO is traditionally taught, a lot of the pieces don't work for me, and my didn't work for my financial situation, didn't work for my time situation, didn't work for my personality. Like there's some introverted kind of ness to it. They're like,
Dude,
oh,
asking people for backlinks, I've never wanted to do that. That's miserable and hard. Like reaching out to people, and I know people get good at it and they build systems and stuff, but that always turned me so hard off to SEO. It's just like, I don't want to do that. If that's what you got to do to win at SEO, I just don't want to do it. And
yeah, and then if you want to do it the white hat way, whatever that means, the outreach, link outreach, then you've that in of itself, that whole process, and people have built elaborate little systems to streamline that. If you were going to figure that out on your own, that is a whole separate business.
Yeah.
Like, and people have made a whole separate business of like every single piece. And I think I may have said this before in another conversation. Every piece of this process could be a standalone business, but I've figured out a way to give solopreneurs enough leverage to where like we just, you can't see all of me, but just like we just touch on a piece of each one of these and they give us tremendous leverage. So we don't have to spend all day building backlinks. We don't have to spend all day writing content. We don't have to spend all day, building the sites. You don't have to spend all day, just geeking out like on servers and PBNs and all that stuff. Like you're still arranging those pieces, but like without all the time and nerdiness and stuff. It's literally just a recipe and like, go gather these resources, put them together like this. Can you copy and paste? Okay.
I think
cool.
the cookie analogy is great because if you want to, you can go deep into the science of baking and how, the chemistry between the different ingredients and why you put, a pinch of salt in there because it helps the dough to rise at this temperature, or why, you can go into all that if you want to, if you really love it. Like I'm actually really liking SEO now that I'm actually getting some momentum and some results. I'm getting excited and I do want to learn about it. I've always been into traffic and I like a lot about it. But you don't, especially when you're new, you just kind of want to see the results happen and then you can build on it. And yeah, there's an infinite rabbit hole for SEO. If you want to, you can, and you're going to understand. I mean, if you go through this process, you're going to already understand more than almost everybody just by doing it. But if you want to learn why, the reason behind what makes the cookies come out tasting delicious, you can. But at the very minimum, you're going to have some cookies, which taste really good, which is awesome.
Yeah. And that's
you're going to get traffic. I anguished for probably years just wondering if this would ever even produce any traffic for me, because I've created like many blogs over the years following various things. And yeah, I start them and I start to see like, oh, this one got some impressions or whatever. And I see if I just worked on this for a couple more years, it probably would work, but I don't have the time to do that. So I leave and nothing ever happens with those. Well, that's not the case with this system. As far as I've tested so far, I mean, you're going to get traffic for sure. And it's up to you what to do with that traffic, but.
Right. And there's only so many things once you get your whatever template in place or your site built, there's only a couple of things you need to tweak to swap out. Like if, I don't know if we cover this, if it was a conversation me and Tyler had, but like, you're either going to change, you may have to rebuild the site. Maybe there's an issue with, and I'm not super nerdy technical on this level. I'm sure there's some people that are. I'm not one of them. And that's kind of what prevented me from, feeling like I was going to be good at SEO, because I get the gist of things. I just can't like explain everything, but I can tell you what to do. So, but like once you get the sites built, there's only a couple of things you need to really assess. It's like if it's getting traffic, then and you're not making sales, maybe it's the offer, or maybe it's the landing page of the offer. So you might need to split test that. If you're not getting any traffic, maybe it's just an issue with that domain. That's why I always build like 2 sites for each set of keywords now, because one will take off usually and one may not, or maybe hopefully both will, but that way at least it gives you 2 chances instead of 1, because maybe there is nothing wrong with the keywords. It's just like for whatever reason Google doesn't like that domain. And yeah, there's just a couple of things you need to tweak. It's like, if this isn't working, try this, or if this isn't working, try this. Maybe it is the maybe it's the niche or whatever. So a lot of times, me and Tyler and Kevin, we've when a niche didn't work out, maybe it wasn't actually the domain or something. Maybe it was like the niche on the domain. It's weird. I don't know why that is. Again, I'm not some nerd level SEO that's going to figure that out. I just know that sometimes that's the case. And we've wiped that site, rebuilt it with different keywords, different niche, and then it takes off. So like there was nothing wrong with the domain. So what Brad's saying is like, yeah, this stuff is going to work with you. And the last piece of like this puzzle that I haven't refined, the way I would like to, is being able to tell you exactly how much like traffic or money you're going to make. But you're going to get a better idea of what that number is, that benchmark metric is, the more you build. I just assign a value of about $100 per month for the sites that I build. They may make less than that, and they may make more. And the more that I build, the more better number that benchmark is going to get, and the more you will as well. So I think the theme that me and Tyler are just going to run with probably the answer to most people's questions if they're not getting enough results is literally just build more sites, because you're going to learn more by doing. I think a lot of people in the beginning, and maybe you can kind of identify with this too, they focus so much on the amount of money they want to make, and that prevents them from taking the action that's required to make the money. So they're like, well, I'm not at $1,000 a month yet, so I don't know if I'm going to build any more sites. No, if I could choose which number for you to focus on, is instead of focusing on the amount of money you want to make initially, focus on the amount of sites you're going to build. Like, make it a goal to build 100 sites. And I mentioned that in the course. And then I think through that process, you're going to learn a lot, and you're probably going to reach your income goals. And then if you want to make more, you just build more sites. But now you've got the confidence because you're making money. Like on one of me and Brad's calls, like it was pretty exciting. I wish could have recorded it, but you made like your first commission from these types of sites, and you're like, I thought something was wrong or whatever. You're like, whoa. Like, yeah. I just made my first sale. Like, while we were talking.
Yeah, that was serendipitous. That was providential. I always love making the first commission from a new affiliate program. And I know for a fact that this came from one of the sites that I built recently following this exact process. So it was super exciting to me. I'm like, okay, there we go. All I got to do now is build more sites. And it's shocking how hard that is to achieve after all the courses I've been through. It's hard to find that, and I know, obviously, we're both course creators. We both understand, like, it's going to depend on the effort that you put in and like some luck and some whatever, but I'm pretty confident in this one. I mean, there's no advantage that I had. I just literally did one of the many ideas you mentioned, and it started to work. So I see it. It's going to happen.
Yeah. It comes back to that competition analogy. It's like, and I think every time you make a sale, it kind of further reinforces that. You're like, oh, like, it's just like Craig keeps saying, it's not there. Really, the competition is just in your mind. Cause I mean, you go out downtown in the city of Austin and ask around and see if anybody knows what the heck we're trying to do here. And most people have no clue.
Even internet marketers. That's why I love your circle thing. Cause even that's like, I can talk to a lot of people about marketing. I have a lot of copywriter friends. I have a lot of like business owner friends, all sorts of marketing all day long. Nobody can talk about these specific overlapping circles of stuff, except for the people who would be listening to this and who are in the course. I mean,
yeah, I love it because there's so much noise happening in the world, especially in 2020. And I just feel like we have this, just massive amount of abundance, and all the noise is happening up here. And we're just like coasting along down here, just peaceful with our amazing little, just zero resistance marketing, simple strategy that's just infinite and like no competition. And, the media is just like fear, scarcity, vaccines, death, and that's just not our reality with this process and stuff. So I don't know, like you said, it gives me peace too, because I always, being somebody I don't know, I always felt pressure around selling and stuff. So combine that with like feeling like I'm late to the game and competition and stuff, and you just stack all those things together, and I'm like, man, by the time I finally do wrap my head around this, there's not going to be any more Kindle publishing, you know, like all the books will have been published, and there's no, there's going to be a new Amazon publishing platform or whatever. Let me just, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add. I've just got a bunch of quotes I just collected. I just like the way Brad, the language he uses, because it's the same things that I would have said, like when I was having these epiphanies. So I'm just going to run through these, and if you want to say anything, let me know. But this was one of my favorites because, this is how I felt. So when I first started SEO, way back in the beginning, I stumbled upon OMG machines, and actually Brad had been through that as well. So he had got access to it.
Going through it is a bit generous.
It's a massive course, and it's very expensive, but it was super technical. It helped me learn a little bit about private block networks and stuff. But it's super technical, very expensive, very just technical process. And I love that Brad said, like, going through your course that just taught me that I'm not too stupid to do SEO. And I was like, that's exactly how I felt, because I felt that the other SEOs out there that I was learning from or friends with, even though they actually probably don't see themselves this way, I always saw them and kind of still see them as so smart and so nerdy and so much ahead of me. And I don't even think they see themselves that way. But that's just how I felt, because I could kind of grasp what they were saying, but I needed it explained in a simpler way. And they I guess their mind is more technical, so they explain things in a technical way. But I needed things explained in like a story way for me to get it. And so all the things I explained in the course, that's how I needed it explained to me for it to make sense, because otherwise it's just servers and stuff, and that doesn't do well for me. I like that you said this too. It got rid of the scarcity mindset for me. So that's really cool. I get more, anxious about that there's only one of Greg. And I'm like, why can't I think of all these keywords, but there's only one of me? Like, I'm going to have to put off building some of these sites until tomorrow. So.
Yeah, that's called, I have a friend who called that a champagne problem, my friend.
That's awesome. These are just some other things I wrote down. He said, this will work forever. And I just like the just simplicity in that statement. It kind of ties into just the piece that it gives me, just knowing that I can be kind of dabbling or working on this thing with however much time it takes me. And even though the world's gonna move on and do their thing or whatever, Kim Kardashian or whatever they say is popular this year is gonna be, they're gonna pick and choose that no matter what. But I can just attack this and implement this at my own pace and not have to worry, because like once I get it implemented, it's going to work. And then once I build more sites, those are going to work too. And I don't know, it just gives me a lot of peace of I'm not chasing anything anymore. I felt like I was trying to keep up in the past, and sort of like, I can just freaking breathe now, and just like work and like, and just intercept this traffic. Basically, I like, I don't know if you've ever been to, you're kind of close to Niagara Falls, I guess, maybe sort of.
I'm close. I haven't been. Pretty close.
I've been there, and it's crazy. Like there's the power of all that water going over the edge of the Horseshoe Falls. So I just imagine these a lot of people, again, they don't, just these long tail keywords, they just represent that power of Niagara Falls. And a lot of people, they just see one keyword and they're like, oh, it's just one little trickle, one little water droplet. The whole internet as a whole is a wave of traffic. And if you can just imagine it, for any of you that have been to Niagara Falls or seen a big waterfall like that, it's ridiculously powerful and tons of water going over that edge of that cliff or whatever. Just imagine what we're doing with these mass page sites. We're able to quickly put out some hooks and cast a net and or little buckets or whatever, and kind of intercept a little trickle of that giant flood of traffic, and just being able to catch like enough to fit in a 5-gallon bucket or something. But we're doing that so rapidly that we have lots of buckets, and we're collecting, again, tying back into the pennies, nickels, dimes metaphor that I illustrate in the course. My uncle had this milk jug, those metal milk jugs, growing up, and it was filled to the top of the pennies. And when he eventually took that to the bank, somehow, I don't know how he transported all those pennies, but it translated to, I think, over $1,000. And I always remembered that. I was like, that's kind of how these mass page sites are to me. They represent each page, each post represents a penny, if you want to assign a value to it. And, on average, these sites, so I'm making, 10, 20, 30,000 posts, but a 30,000 post site, that would represent about $300. And while kind of the compare and contrast that I do there with amount of money made and stuff is like, I've never made more than that, $100 at a job in a day. And so while most people would just see these sites or these long tail keywords as like, oh, those are just like pennies on the ground, those are so worthless, I'm not even going to bend down and pick them up. But if if these sites represent 300,000 pennies, well, that's a couple of 5-gallon buckets full of pennies. That's the equivalent to what actually more than what most people make at their 9-to-5 job here in the US. And so it's actually more than you think it is. And so anyway.
And this is, by the way, how Amazon was built, this philosophy, because they could use the long tail to sell anything. Whereas every other retailer, like Walmart, had to choose the inventory that would go into their physical space. Amazon had the freedom to extend into the long tail. And so I don't know if have you ever read the book, The Long Tail?
No.
Oh, dude, you should read it.
Okay.
A guy wrote this book at kind of like the emergence of the internet hitting its peak, which was like 2008 or 2006 or something like that, sometime around there. This super smart, I think he wrote for Wired or something. Really, really, really intelligent guy wrote this book called The Long Tail. And what he was saying was, with the internet now, our costs of distribution and warehousing are going to, or our costs of selling products basically is going to go to zero. So what companies like Amazon have taken advantage of is Amazon can sell a product that's only going to sell one per year. They with their infrastructure, they can do that at scale. And so they opened the door to selling things that before never even could be sold profitably, because there's no way that keeping 5, pink small versions of this one item would ever make sense to a Walmart. Walmart always had to pick, like top down, they had to pick the top products that were going to work. And then everything else never got a chance to exist. But Amazon says, sure, you want the tiny pink, you know, fuzzy version of that? Yep, we got it. So yeah, that's like the pennies. There's more pennies out there in the long tail than there are for any of the short tail. I don't know if this is making sense, but in aggregate, there are more pennies out there. And like you said, that overwhelming flood.
Yep. And there's some graphs that illustrate this, but again, I'm not the, maybe that's a little flaw, but I just don't, you just have to trust me. I don't really want to go out there and gather all this data to back this up, but even the graphs kind of illustrate this. While the individual long tail keywords themselves get less traffic each, the collective number of all of them combined for that niche or whatever outweigh the volume that comes from the 2 or 3 or 10 keywords of the short tail. So like make money online, sure, that gets a lot of traffic, I guess, but all the long tail keywords associated with it outweighs the traffic that one keyword gets. And here's my little argument with that too, is that traditionally with SEO courses, we were taught to go after the shorter tail keywords because of the volume, the traffic. The only thing they forgot to mention, they left out, was the intent behind the traffic. So the shorter the keyword, the phrase, the less buyer intent, which we don't care about that. So you have to be very good at selling. It's not just a volume game. You have to be very, very good at selling and positioning for that traffic, because if someone's just typing in shoes, they're probably not in the market to buy shoes. They may just be doing shoe research for a shoe paper they're writing. And so I don't really care about any of that as a marketer. I would care about I don't know. Another marketer calls them, I think they call them money tail keywords. And I like that. I wish I would have known that. So long tail, money tail. So they're like the buyer keywords. And I kind of just, without trying to think too much about it, we're taught traditionally like that product name review was buyer keywords, but I consider all long tail keywords buyer keywords, because you're more aware of that product. So like the less educating I have to do with that product, the better. Because again, kind of going back to the zero resistance marketing, if you're already like very aware and educated on that product, I don't have to do hardly any selling. I can just give you a little tap, give you a little nudge, like you're on the fence, you're about to buy, and I can just confirm what just make you feel smart and special or whatever. Like you're smart enough to search that long phrase about ClickFunnels or whatever. I can just confirm that, like, you're making a great decision. This is you want to ideally be sincere and stuff about your suggestions and stuff, but like as long as you've checked it out and that product is legit and stuff, then you can say, like, here's 3-5 reasons why it is awesome, and I actually own this myself, and here's 3 reasons why I like it, and you can feel good about recommending that product, and without bashing their beliefs and being like, oh, ClickFunnels is so stupid, everything, it's all about groove pages now, it's because it's cheaper and blah 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 blah. Like anyway, there's so all these things, I've been trying to get these ideas out of my head, not just teach you the strategy, but like the philosophy and mindset behind it, because I'm sure those of you that like play video games or whatever, when you get better and better at that game, there's certain decisions you make in that game that you make instantly, but there's like 1,000 things that are going on in your brain that allow you to make that split-second decision because of this, and this. You go into a room and analyze everyone around you, and allows you to, do an action or whatever. That's the same kind of way that I, approach this, and probably the same way Brad assesses Bing ads and keywords. He's through experience and through seeing a lot of patterns and stuff, he's able to quickly analyze, and like he can look at the same information as a newbie and both see two different things, because Brad sees things differently because he has a lot more experience. And the basically all this summed up is the more sites you build, the more patterns you're going to start to see. And then, the more just of an edge, blue ocean you're going to have for yourself. Because like I like what you said in the beginning. This is what's going to be really exciting in all of this. And I hope this happens, that people come back and like share some of their findings, and hopefully they have an abundance mindset and are open to do that. Because a lot of times they just go out there and make money. And a lot of people that make the most money, I never hear from them again. That's why, some people think that, this course is not this content is not as successful as it is, because the people that make the most don't say shit. They just keep quiet. They don't say anything. And so they never come back. And, some people are in different countries, so I never see them at live events. So they just go away and like quietly, anonymously rake in a whole bunch of money, and I never see or hear from them again. And that's great. But like, we can all learn from each other, and it would be cool if people use this information and come back and share that. Because that would be like, just with our conversations, we're similar, but you've given me some ideas and stuff, and that's really cool to just see how other what they do with the same information.
Yeah.
Just like that YouTube thing, I was like, oh, that is the thought that I would have had, but I didn't but that's something I would have thought of. But that's really cool. I just want to run through a couple of other things you said that there's just, I don't know, these are just cool. So you said kind of comparing, I guess, what we do to like traditional SEO or white hat, if you want to call it that. It's like we're raised in the jungle, whereas other folks, it's kind of like the corporate-y SEO people. You said like one of the ones that you're working with in one of your companies, you said she knows a lot, but she's never gone into the jungle. And I just think that's cool, because I guess the stuff that we do, it's just sort of, I don't know, I don't really consider it bad, but it's just like that. It's just sort of like this gray area. And a lot of people, since it's not really talked about too much in books and at conferences and courses, it's just this little gray area of don't go into the dark forest, bad things will happen or whatever. But like, and they don't even know what's in there. They're so scared they never even go. So they don't even know what they don't know. There's all these things they think they know. I like that. And then you just said something like everybody starts out with nothing. And it's kind of like why I built this, engineered this strategy, because I had nothing. I had to figure out a way, because that's one of people's main questions in the beginning. Hey, what are the free marketing strategies? How can I get started with nothing? And like, even though now I have some strategies to do that, it's a waste of my time to even respond to those people's questions, because it would just take too long to explain this. But sure, I've got free strategies, but yeah, now that I've got more money and resources, I don't even want to do those myself anymore. But that's cool. And then, that's kind of about it. But I did want you to touch on kind of, again, piggybacking just off the lack of competition from a vendor side. I love what you said about the affiliates that you had when working with Dow Badass, and you had hinted at like there was one guy that was like responsible for, out of all your affiliates, one guy that was responsible for the majority of your sales. If you can kind of touch on that for a minute, and then I want to bring up what you said about the iThemes affiliate program, because that was pretty cool. But
well, actually, I have a copy of the 80-20 principle here. I read this years ago when I was working for Dow Badass, and I was like, okay, cool, sounds neat in theory, but that can't actually be the way it shakes out. And at the time, we were the #1 product on ClickBank, so we had thousands and thousands of affiliates, lots and lots of sales. And I just like opened up the account and I looked and I was like, okay, it just sounds like a philosophy that probably isn't reality. But I opened it up and I looked and I was like, So if you don't know, the 80-20 principles basically says that out there in the universe, there's kind of this law that when I don't know how to explain it that elegantly, but basically 20% of inputs are responsible for 80% of outputs. So if you're on a sales team, probably 20% of your salespeople are responsible for 80% of your sales. If you have a business, probably 20% of your products are worth 80% or responsible for 80% of your sales. Same thing. And it even extends into the natural world. Like the guy who discovered it learned that pea pods were 20% of his pea pods were producing 80% of the peas. And Tim Ferriss built the whole 4-hour work week on this principle. Anyways, I looked and yes, it was 20% of our affiliates were making 80% of our sales just in general. And then another claim of the 80-20 principle and Tim Ferriss and whatever, Richard Koch or Koch, I don't know, whatever his name, came up with this, but I forgot how to say this, but within every 80-20 split, there's another 80-20 split and another 80-20 split kind of forever. So within the top 20% of affiliates, I was like, but surely that can't be. So I did it. I took out all the other affiliates and I was like, okay, cool. I'm only looking at only the small amount of affiliates relatively who have ever made a sale for us, which is 20%. And that was still hundreds
or just like, yeah, the active affiliates. And of that group, there's the most successful affiliates.
Right. So then out of that group, there was another 80-20 split where the top, let's call it 20 affiliates were making 80% of that amount. And then again, there was a top 1 affiliate that was making 80% of that amount of all those 20. If you took everything that they were all selling, this one affiliate was making 80% of that. So it was like, wow, this is actually real. And we had no idea. I mean, we're managing this like big business, tons of affiliates, we don't even have to ask for them. They're all just coming from all over the internet. And we didn't even know that until I looked into it and I was like, wow, that's crazy. And so you've echoed this. And then I've talked to other business owners, like you said, with your program, and same with my course too. A few people promoted as affiliates. You're the only person who's really like made some sales. Basically no competition. You think there's a lot of affiliates just winning, promoting these offers, but really it's very easy to become one of the top affiliates for almost any program. And again, that was the top product on ClickBank. I'm not saying it would be easy to be the top affiliate for the top product, because that person was very, very, very good at traffic and they were driving a lot of traffic. But
you could probably with SEO, you can be the number 1, but if you're competing with somebody that's just a master at paid traffic, you could probably be within the top 3 or something, because the thing is with a lot of people that drive paid traffic, especially the ones with the email list, they're not consistent. So they're not making consistent sales. They do a big blast and then they may not do another one forever or maybe until next year. So I wanted y'all to hear that from Brad, because you hear me say it, but it may not stick with you because you're like, oh, you're just whatever, making this up or whatever. I don't know, whatever you're thinking. But like Brad's had it. This is not just from a product outside of the Make Money Online niche. This is one of the top. It was the top product on all of ClickBank, I think, for many years.
Like 2 years.
I wanted you to hear that from him, and yeah, just it's not that hard to stand out. So when you combine what we do, which no one is doing, and combine that with what he just said about of the people that are active affiliates, there's not that many people that are like crushing it as affiliates. And like, this is a little nugget, since y'all have been on here for like 2 hours now, just with ClickFunnels. So I'm still, I guess, considered a top affiliate of ClickFunnels after all these years. And one thing that the affiliate manager said a couple of months ago to me was, we've got a separate group, if you didn't know, of like the super affiliates, and there's only a couple in there. And he said, yeah, just kind of like a inside joke in the ClickFunnels headquarters or whatever. Is it like, just like an inside joke in the office is like, maybe we should just fire all the other affiliates and close the program except for our top 100, because there's only like 100 that are doing anything. And I was like, what? Like out of all the, you know, hundreds of thousands of users? And he was like, yeah, it's like nobody. So, I mean, and there's probably only, you know, maybe a couple thousand people that have made a sale, but he's like, out of all the affiliates, like, yeah, you're one of the top 100. Like, I was like, literally only 100 on the, you know, planet, on all of ClickFunnels, all the people that have, you know, the thousands of people that have qualified for the 2 Comma Club award. None of them are the top affiliates. Nope. So it's way smaller than you think. And I've shared examples of like Thrive Themes. I reached out to them because, you know, every once in a while I make like 4 figures in a month. And I was just, since I'd make consistent sales, I reached out to the affiliate manager like last year and I said, hey, I'm just curious because I kind of want to get the attention of Shane Millar, which he's very rarely, I've seen him leave like 2 testimonials ever. And so I really respect him. And, but I've never met him or talked to him. And I just want to get his attention. And I promise if you make people money, you will get their attention. That's how to get their attention. And so I wanted to be a top affiliate. And I asked the affiliate manager, well, you know, like how much do I need to make? You know, what's the top affiliate doing? And she said, out of all of our affiliates, we only have 3 that sometimes make 5 figures a month. And out of those 3, there's only 1 that consistently makes 5 figures on the planet.
Wow.
1. So I only have to beat 1 person. So it kind of goes back to that whole illustration, just 1 person. I wanted to also touch on the iThemes affiliate program because Brad's working with the guy that used on iThemes, which has Backup Buddy and all these other products, and sold that, but he's working for that guy. And I thought it was interesting what you said, what he said about their iThemes program, which I think they were or are on ShareASale or something. So it's like iThemes was not a small brand in the WordPress space, huge. And you said, first off, they never ran any paid traffic, I don't think. Was that
well?
Right?
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to get into too many like details, but I'll definitely.
But with the affiliate side, you were like, yeah, you said, well, we didn't really concentrate too much.
Yeah, he just said that, you know, they didn't really bother with their affiliate program too much because only a few people were really making sales. He just echoed the exact same thing that Greg and I have discovered several times in the affiliate marketing world, is that you think you have a lot of competition because you hear all these really smart people who seem like you just think, if people are this smart, there's no way I can compete. That's how I always thought, is like, if there's people this smart going after it, they will have already thought of all of these ways. And that's just not true. It's just not reality. Even with huge, super successful companies, and some like newbie to intermediate people don't understand that. They even they ask like, if you knew that you could make more money, why wouldn't you? And the simple answer is none of us have the energy to do everything. Even if you're running a very successful business, well, if you didn't build it on the back of affiliate traffic, then why would you know that there was another gold mine? Or maybe you hate affiliates, you know, then you don't need affiliates, or you don't like paid traffic, then do what works for you. But that just illuminated to me again, it reinforced that the competition is so small. When you know how to send traffic, you can quickly rise to the top of almost any affiliate program, even ClickFunnels, which I would say is the most like in vogue, like popular affiliate program out there these days. I mean, that's crazy. Or even with ClickBank, it would not take very much to become one of the top affiliates for any of those products.
Yeah, just I don't know what the threshold is or whatever for getting their attention of people at ClickBank, but I've never made much at ClickBank. This was the first year I've made over 5 figures ever, and so, but right at the point where I was making only a couple $100 a week consistently for like a couple of months, I got a random message to like my email, and it was like, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm your ClickBank affiliate account manager. And I was like, what? I have one of those? I didn't even know. is that what you are? I didn't even know we had account managers. But I guess, once and he shared like a tip, he was like, you should promote this product. I'm like, where did you come from? But you start to get the attention of people. And that gave me a little bit of a clue of like, wow, I guess this is how small of a, amount of money you need to make just to get someone's attention there, because he wouldn't have reached out to me if he didn't think I could promote this thing. And so really interesting, because I was like, this isn't very much money. This is only like a couple $1,000 a month, like low end. And that was enough to get their attention. And so, but you need people on the inside. You need relationships, because they can see things that you can't, and give you tips and heads up of like, hey, this really awesome offer is coming, and maybe it's private or something, which gives you more of an edge. So like, again, low to no competition, combine it with what we're doing, and you've also got an exclusive on it. Oh, like nobody else can compete with you. Like, that's awesome. Yeah, we've been talking for a little while, but I don't want this to go to crazy long. But this is this little snapshot of what you're gonna get with when it comes to talking about offers and angles and stuff with me on these calls. So this is a really awesome little value added kind of part of this program, and I think it's going to help a lot of people, because I know for myself, over the years, I think one of the things that has delayed my progress was not necessarily that I need to ask a lot of questions. I just wanted to talk to another person that was like, doing this or whatever. Just, it's nice, kind of therapeutic almost, these conversations that you and I have, just kind of like, finally, like I get to talk to somebody else about this, and you're on my same level and stuff, and just to get, and then, for those of you that this information's new, we can help make sense of it. I feel like the course is pretty simple, but if you are new, there may be a little learning curve, but it's not going to take me very long to get you over those little hurdles or humps that you're experiencing, because the course is so short. I can just quickly explain what that means, give you some context, and then we can go get right onto what I consider the fun stuff, which is the keywords and the angles, offers and stuff. And so yeah, that's kind of why I brought Brad on here, to mainly highlight those two things, is kind of get his feedback on the course and stuff from having, some experience in SEO, and just actually, I didn't even think about this, but you've actually seen all versions of my course. So that's pretty cool. So yeah. You've seen how it's evolved, and then, we've had conversations in the last couple of weeks. So you've got a little taste of, what this could be for people that hop on these live calls, and just, it's kind of like Domination Labs on steroids, because, you get access to me. I was the one that, put all those offers and stuff in Domination Labs. So, and those were just a handful of handpicked ones. There's about 100 or more that I didn't leave in, because I don't want to overwhelm people. Just similar to like this new version of the course. I think if I just gave people a directory of thousands of products, they'd just look at it and be like, well, this will always be here when I'm ready. Man, that's a lot of offers. And then probably just go do something else. So I just drip them out.
I would say, like you talking about, I've gotten to see all versions of your course. I really do wish I could go back to myself in 2016 or whatever and just be like, okay, stop every other person. Just listen to what Greg says and do it. So that's what I'm going to do now.
Yeah. I don't remember the context of that, but you said that on a recent call too. You're just like, I'm just going to do what Greg does.
Yeah.
That's not to say that mine's right or perfect, but it's working, it's working. There may be somebody that's better or smarter than me. I'm sure there are plenty, but and it's taken me a long time to just arrive at where I'm at today, which is like having confidence in my process, even though it's worked for this long, of just being confident and saying, you know what, like it's good enough. And I don't have to prove anything to anybody anymore. I don't have to justify this to SEO purists that this is whatever you want to call this or categorize this as, because the white hat people that are doing the client stuff or whatever, or the authority hacker people, they've got their little angle and it works for them. This is a proprietary process that I had to build for me to like perfectly fit my personality. And I think that's why it resonates really well with Brad. But inside the course, I gave y'all some options on how to direct the traffic once you get it, because I wanted to give you some variety there. But those are all things that we can talk about more on the calls and stuff. And I just wanted to keep this course short. And then for any context and other ideas, we can fill those in on the calls. But man, this is, I could talk forever to Brad. We've already been on here for 2.5 hours. That kind of demonstrates that, but I don't want to get cut off at some point with a StreamYard. So I don't want to be on here for 4 hours. But thank you all for tuning in. And I don't know if y'all have any questions, like leave comments. And I don't know is there anything else you want to like add or say about the course, or any whatever closing thoughts or?
No, if you're thinking about it, I would highly recommend joining, because the combination of the very beautiful, elegant, proprietary system that Greg's put together, plus the benefit of getting to actually pick his brain. Well, yeah. I know that term can be a little painful sometimes, but the concept of getting some sort of guidance from you, many times just I've taken notes of the things that you've said. In 5 minutes, you just launched me forward 6 months in the process, because there was one little tweak that I was getting wrong, and you could just adjust that. And that's what good mentorship really does for you, is saves you time. It saves you potentially months or years of trying to figure it out yourself. Just listen to the person who knows, and you can make one little tweak that sends somebody off on a much, much faster and better path.
Yeah. Like when I first came out with the course, I was kind of hard on myself, and I was like, I don't really, I don't know how well this is going to work for other people. But one thing I've always stuck to is like, I can't guarantee that it's going to make you lots of money or whatever, because I don't know what you're going to do with the information. But I know that I can pretty much guarantee this, as long as you don't do the things I say don't do, it'll save you thousands of dollars in trying things, and also in time, because you can't get the time back. And in the position that I was in, the money that I spent, if I spent more money than I could really afford to spend at any certain time, now I'd have to spend months, maybe even a year, trying to pay that back or whatever, because I would max out credit cards and stuff. So that what that did to me was it delayed my success. So like if I made a financial mistake, now I'd have to wait like 6 or 8 months to pay that card enough down to where I could like request a credit limit increase or something. And I just was like, 6 more months of pain and suffering, and it sucks. So I can definitely provide some guidance and direction there of like, please don't do this. Please don't do this. And I know just that will save you 10 times what you're investing in the course. When I remember moving out here to Austin in 2010, and I would just be on these ClickBank VSLs, and the vendor, who hopefully this was a real person. You never knew, it was just a voice, or you're like Andy from Illinois or whatever, and I'm selling you this product. But they'd have stories, the rag to riches stories, about like how they spent $30,000 or $80,000 in debt, and then like the next year they were making 6 figures. And I couldn't even, that was such a big number, just the debt part, not even the money part, just the debt. I was like, that's so unrealistic, unfamiliar to me. I don't even have that much on a credit card to spend, so I don't even know how you spend that much on going into that much debt. So that was like so unrealistic to me. But just in the last 10 years, I can tell you that is very doable to like achieve $10, $20, $30, $50,000 in debt, because I've done that, and made it to the other side. So I figured out how to, leverage credit cards, and I've made a lot of mistakes. And I've eventually found, the process that I'm doing now. And that was what helped get me out of that debt and stuff. So the process that I was just dabbling, trying to tinker with and figure out, I eventually made enough to where I made enough to pay off all that debt. So it's kind of like one of those rag to riches stories. But in the beginning, just the debt part was unbelievable. Like I was like, this is unrealistic. Like nobody can get in $60,000 worth of debt. I'm like, well, I can confirm that is achievable for sure. So, I've been where you guys are or have been, or maybe are right now and stuff. And this is what got me out of that. It was, it took a lot of discipline to stop doing those things that weren't working. And, for me, it was a lot of paid traffic stuff and probably just dabbling. That was a big mistake of just dabbling in anything or dabbling in lots of things. And instead of going all in on one thing, because I think you can really be successful at anything if you commit to it. But this was just the thing I kept coming back to, I think mostly because it resonated with my personality, and it checked off the criteria of like, this is something that meets that laptop lifestyle kind of dream of I can travel the world. I can do this with just a laptop and internet connection. And this is something that can grow and compound without you actively managing it once you set it up. So that's pretty cool. So like ClickFunnels is a good example of that. I haven't even really touched that in like 3 years, and that's made me more money than both of my parents make now in retirement combined. So that's pretty crazy. And that's like one income stream. So, imagine like you said, going back a couple of years, imagine what would be if I would have just kept building sites around ClickFunnels or something. That would have been pretty cool. But yeah, you can, if y'all, I haven't checked, I'm sure there've been a lot of people that have signed up on this call and stuff. But if you haven't joined yet, you can visit SEOaffiliatedomination.com/SEOAD Elite. And that'll be up until the 15th at midnight. So would love to work with you guys this next year, 2021, because that's going to, 2020 kind of sucked in a lot of ways, but 2021 I'm feeling a lot more positive about. And again, for those of you that get in or are already in, be sure to thank Tyler, because he's the one that twisted my arm to put this together. And I think it's going to be a good thing for y'all, because I know how much it's changed people's lives that have had access to me, but I don't really sell my time at all, really, and don't do coaching and stuff. And so but through, group coaching is a way for me to reach more people, just say the same thing to a larger group of people, rather than, I can't afford to, I don't have enough time in the day to do 4-hour phone calls with everybody here. But you'll basically be getting that same access to me through these calls. So I'm really excited for that, because it's, I owe a lot to a handful of people over the years that have helped me get a lot of the mindset material that you see inside the course. That came from a lot of generous people being kind enough to sit down with me and have a conversation with me and literally just share this stuff with me through word of mouth, because it's not in any book that I know of, or that anybody's referred to me. It's not, I didn't learn it at a mastermind. It was not in any presentation. It was literally like some person learned it from another person, and that person and I just happened to cross paths, and whatever, I somehow got the favor of that person, and they liked me, and they shared this nugget, and I collected those nuggets from all kinds of, a lot of different people, and just kind of held on to them until I had another one that made sense with that one. And then eventually I had like 20 or 30 little nuggets or pieces of the puzzle, and I combined them. I was like, oh, I've got a whole puzzle now. Like all of it fits together and it works. It makes sense. And that it took me a lot of time to get these pieces. So excited to share this with you guys, because I know how lucky I've been, and I think you guys are you'll realize this moving forward, just how lucky you are to be here right now and be in this program if you decide to invest in it, because I don't know anybody else with these same pieces. Because the people that shared them with me, none of them had all the other pieces. They just gave me their best piece, and I just collected all those. And so, and now I'm giving them all to you, the completed puzzle. So pretty cool. But man, I could talk to Brad forever. But if y'all enjoyed this chat and some of the things I said, some of the things Brad said, just hashtag Nomad Brad, or thanks for coming on. And yeah, if you want to check out Brad, check out his YouTube channel, and definitely, if you want to kind of combine what I do with what Brad does, I definitely recommend checking out his course as well, because we have very similar philosophies, and I feel like that SEO and the long tail keywords and stuff goes hand in hand with what you teach with Bing, and the fact that Bing is a little more affiliate friendly. And I just see that Bing is sort of like rocket fuel to what I do. Or
We'll see.
Yeah. And you can, for those of you out there, you can do, think of it this way. You can use the SEO to build the cash flow and build a budget, and then pour that into paid ads to scale the things that are already working for you in SEO. And so all this stuff, there's so much overlap. It all goes together. That's why, I just love connecting all this, the people and the resources and stuff, all these in new and unique ways. Because all this stuff, even though we do different things, it's all related. And the more connections you can make, the better marketer you're gonna be and stuff. So like all the things that I've learned over the years, and Brad, that's what gives us these like weird, unique angles with this stuff. So for those of you on the call, you may have gone through lots of other courses and stuff, and I think through this process you're going to realize that not all of that was, you can use that information that you thought you'd never use and be like, okay, now I can finally leverage all that stuff and tie it into this and make the money.
I'm feeling that so much right now. Yeah.
You're like, all the experiences in my life leading up to this moment, I'm now about to cash in all of those years and all that money spent on, MLMs and biz ops and stuff, and it's about to pay off. So anyway, I'm excited about this year. So yeah, any closing thoughts or anything else you want to add, or any other little quotes, Brad quotes that you want to add, man? You just got so much wisdom and awesome things to share, man. Just insights. Anything you want to restate? Maybe
we can have another one of these inside the members area sometime. Do a
pick Brad's brain.
Yeah, if you sign up,
Brad's got a lot of.
We could definitely do that. So
yeah, maybe it's like a little bonus, or maybe it could be a whatever regular thing we add in as a bonus or whatever. Because there's, like I said, we all have, we're all learning, doing the same thing, but we all have a lot of different things to bring to the same process. Brad's got we're the same age, so he's got 34 different years of life experience to bring to this. One thing that I'm kind of jealous of that Brad's done than me is having the experience in the dating niche, not just like we've gone through the same similar material, but he's has actually experience in that niche from a vendor side. So he's got some unique angles to like what he's seen what works in that niche. So that gives him an insane edge, because that is one of the big three niches: health, wealth, and relationships. And y'all know from seeing the ClickBank marketplace, there's some products that have been bestsellers for several years in that niche. And that's one area where my brain is just a little blocked, like where I do really well with maybe the health and the make online angles. I don't it would take a little bit of effort for me to kind of find that magical hook in the dating niche. But I know Brad's probably got a couple of ideas of how you could tap into that. And once you have that, you could just sit there forever, because a lot of these people in the in that space, they're not going to go write about a bunch of articles about long tail keywords related to how to get your ex back or whatever. I just can't imagine that happening. And so,
no, yeah. Thanks for having me on the call. It's been awesome to talk about all this stuff, and I look forward to seeing what, everybody who joins, just seeing what we all come up with and how to apply these methods to getting traffic and affiliate marketing and wherever else it leads. It's pretty exciting.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, and thank you guys for joining us live. And if you want to watch the replay, you can just watch the replay of this once this ends. But yeah, thanks for coming on, man. It's been awesome.
Yep. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for having me.
All right. See y'all.